for a little water break. So, adding a weighted vest to your training routine is definitely something that I recommend to everyone who watches my channel. This right here is a max of 50 pounds. Each weight in it is 5 pounds. Only have 10 in it since I'm doing the jog now. This is actually like the first week that I've incorporated the jog. I usually do a walk. This is the first week where I've incorporated the heavy jog, and it definitely adds some intensity to your training. There are a lot of benefits to adding a weighted vest to your training routine, whether it's cardio or calisthenics. Adding a weighted vest is like a game changer, truly. But of course you want to be smart, so I'll get into the benefits of a weighted vest. I'll sit down and go over the benefits of the weighted vest later in the video. I'll even drop a link in the description showing some of like articles that I've looked at and done the research on as to how training with this is beneficial. If you want to add this as a part of like your arsenal in your workouts, I definitely recommend, regardless of what the max weight is. So even if it's just 20, start with 10 pounds because you don't want to wear too much and fuck around and hurt yourself while doing this. So I definitely recommend starting with 10 pounds, then incrementally working your way up to the max weight. But hitting cardio with this is fucking awesome, especially being in nature. It's the middle of January, but it does feel pretty nice out, and I can't complain about how good this weather is. It always feels good to get outside and work out in the nature, which is something that I recommend everyone that watches my channel does, like especially if you train. Get used to training outside the gym every so often. Go outside and train, like use nature. For example, like sadly none of these trees are like thick enough for me to do pull-ups on, but improvise and do some pull-ups on a branch or something. Like step outside the box. That can be the gym sometimes, because sometimes, yeah, working out in just the gym is great, but sometimes that can just feel like working out in just the box. And working out in nature, it's open. You can improvise with the things that are around you. So like, for example, pull-ups right here on these benches, there's like spider webs all right there, so I'm not gonna fuck around over there. But like a massive fucking spider web, I'm gonna show y'all. You probably can't see it, but yeah, like get outside your normal like environment of where you train, because training in nature it's got a different feel to it. If you've done it before, you'll know what I'm talking about. But training outside in nature has a nice feel-good feeling to it, and I love it. Of course, make sure you're staying hydrated. Whether you're doing a simple walk, a light jog, make sure you're staying hydrated out here, because no matter what the weather feels like, when you get your body moving like this, especially with a weighted vest, you're gonna sweat a lot. Like, it's inevitable. Whether or not you're wearing a long sleeve, this weighted vest is a pretty significant, it can be a significant amount of added weight on you. And then plus, considering the fact that a lot of these things hug pretty snug to your body, especially the more bulky you are, the more snug it'll hold to your body. You're going to sweat inevitably, so make sure you're staying hydrated when you're training with the weighted vest, because if you don't, you are going to have a horrible time. I'm telling you out of experience. Going up hills like this one right here, you see? Going up hills like this one right above me adds more to the intensity, especially the more weight you're packing on. And I will say this, if you're someone who tends, like when you're walking over a hill, I had a bad habit of doing this. So the steep hill that I just walked up back there, whenever you're walking up hills like that, I know a lot of people, I've done this, I'm guilty of doing this myself, so that's why I'm saying it. I tend to like maybe slouch slightly when walking up hills like that, even without a weighted vest. You especially don't want to do that with a weighted vest. Make sure you're walking with your back as straight as possible, because you're going to feel it in your legs. And the worst thing you can do is put that extra pressure on your back by slouching over slightly, because your lower back is going to fucking hate you later. So do your best to keep your back as straight as possible. If it helps, do like the fucking cops do and hold on to this and just walk as like straight as possible with your back as straight as possible up the hill. You're gonna feel it in your legs, and your legs are gonna hate you, but your lower back won't. You'll definitely thank me later. I typically like to squeeze these in anywhere during the day, usually in the morning, but even if I have to squeeze it in the evening and make it a little short, light jog, that'll do, especially if the weather permits, like it did today, because it's a beautiful day out for January. But now that I'm wrapping up the end of this, next time y'all see me, I gotta get some work done. So next time y'all see me, we're gonna be going over the benefits of adding one of these to your cardio training routine. And look, if you're already sold on this and you know you want one of these, this is a 50 pound. This is a 50 pound one. You're not gonna find this at Walmart. At Walmart, at best, you're gonna find a 20 pound one. But if you want a 50 pound one like this, I'm gonna drop a link in the description. It's an affiliate link. I will disclose that. I kind of literally have to legally disclose that. It's an affiliate link. So yeah, it'll be the exact same vest that this is, and I promise you, you won't regret buying it, because even if you just do cardio exercises with it, it will change the game for you. Kind of gonna step outside of like the cardiovascular benefits and the physique benefits and the physique related benefits of training with the weighted vest, and center this more so on readiness, like physical readiness and fitness for this unpredictable world that we live in. So I'm sure most of you watching the channel live in America, and an unfortunate part of American life is the possibility of being caught up in a mass shooting. Let's say this is a mass shooting scenario and you have to run. You have to run far and fast, but you don't train a lot of cardio, let alone, like, you don't train cardio, let alone train cardio with the weighted vest. You don't train cardio with the weighted vest, or let alone train cardio at all. The worst thing that can happen to you when you're running for your life, literally running for your fucking life, is you get winded, and it slows you down or stops you in your tracks, and then boom, let's just say this person isn't pursuing you, and then you get winded enough to where it slows you down or you're forced to stop, you're dead. Now, those are extreme scenarios that I did just list off, but the point that I want to be taken from this, outside of just like training with a weighted vest to be physically fit and to feel good and look good, it's to be ready for the unpredictable world that we live in now. Because we find that we're in a moment in history right now, even though historically we're living in like the safest time period than any other time in history. This is still a pretty like turbulent time in history, to where we're seeing all these wild events happen, and no one around is prepared for these things, because I mean, of course, you're not expecting it, but the best way to be prepared for something unexpected is to prepare for it anyway. And we're not getting into doomsday prepper or conspiracy theory territory here, but be prepared for the unexpected in every way possible, especially physically. Training with a weighted vest will allow you to strengthen your legs up a lot more. So if you do have to run like hell in a scenario where some guys come to like a concert that you're at and started letting shots off, and you have to run, and wherever you're staying, whether it's in your hometown and you're running home, or you're traveling and you're running back to a hotel, or just getting the fuck out of Dodge, you're gonna have a much greater chance of survival. Especially if you have people with you, you'll have a much greater chance of your survival and their survival if you're physically fit and physically ready for this stuff. So when running cardio, I highly recommend incorporating a weighted vest into your training routine, so that way you can strengthen your legs to endure these long distance runs. Because if you have to run a long ass distance to get the fuck out of Dodge from some guy who just showed up to a concert and started letting shots off, you got the endurance in your legs for it. You'll have a much greater chance of survival, and as will those around you, whether it's strangers or whether it's people that you went to that event with that are dear to you. Really, especially if you've got people with you, because not only are you responsible for your survival, not only are you responsible for your survival at that point, you're responsible for their survival at that point. So I'm hoping that y'all take a lot from this.